Hello, it's your boy Davidoff. Welcome back to Movie Monday. So we're keeping it DCEU for the third week in a row. It was first watching DCEU movies, Man of Steel, BVS and Wonder Woman before watching the Snyder Cut. And then we saw the Snyder Cut and it was awesome. I look forward to watching that again multiple times. But today, Monday, when the last episode went up, the Blu-ray of Wonder Woman 1984 released in the UK. And it is here on day one from Amazon. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. I haven't seen the movie yet. I haven't seen it yet. And it's because I didn't want to pay £16 for 48 hours of renting it. I didn't want to do that. So I waited for the Blu-ray release, which is like £1 less, and to own it actually. It's not in 4K. But you know what is in 4K? Aquaman. I have seen this. I loved it. Looked beautiful in IMAX. Had great action scenes. Visually looked amazing. One of my favourite things about this was the visuals. The visuals of this movie are unreal. And I had it on Blu-ray, but I thought I got to get it on 4K. So here it is. I hear my phone ringing. I will not pick it up. Shazam is there's a sticker on this. I got the Blu-ray. I'm not watching it here because it's not really DCEU. It sort of is, but they disconnected it. I mean, it hasn't even got the DC intro in it. I feel like they've made it its own thing, which is fine. But I want to keep it DCEU themed, and that's not necessarily GCEU, so you know that's why I'm leaving that out. But yes, I'm looking forward to basking in the glory of this movie in 4K. Every time I rewatch it, it's great. I love it. Visually amazing. I have not seen this 4K version on this LG CX OLED 4K 55-inch TV, so I'm sure it's going to look amazing. Looked amazing in IMAX, so I cannot wait to see this. But first, a movie I haven't seen yet, Wonder Woman 1984. It's got negative reviews. Especially from people that I respect the opinions of. They've given this not so good reviews, but I always give everything a chance. I go into every movie open-minded, so I'm hoping it's good. And yeah, I'm about to watch it right now. I cannot wait. And yeah, this is my first time watching it after months of release, so somehow I've avoided spoilers. I don't know how I've done that. Maybe because it's not as big a movie as, you know, like Snyder Cut, for example. If I didn't watch that for 5 months, I would have been spoiled by now, but still. I've avoided spoilers until now, so apart from the trailers, everything's new to me. But I do know Steve's back. Anyway, let's do this. You know what? Because I'm watching it for the first time, whenever I watch any DC or Marvel movies for the first time, I tend to not talk through it. I tend to just experience it. No pausing either if I'm at home. So you probably just get a review at the end, a short review, and then move on to Aquaman in 4K. So yeah, let's do this. Alright, so I just finished watching Wonder Woman 1984. I'm about to watch Aquaman in 4K in a second. It's already loaded up and ready for me to go. But before that, my thoughts on Wonder Woman 1984. It was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. But I quite liked it. It was okay. It was nowhere near as good as the original Wonder Woman movie. I say original, there was previous ones before, but like DCEU, the first one was so much better than this one. In this one, Maxwell Lord as the villain, I felt was okay. Pedro Pascal has been great in a lot of things. He's landing a lot of great roles. He's having a great career at the moment. In this movie, he's not as good as seen him in other roles. I feel like that was more down to the writing though, rather than him. I felt his performance was good, to be fair. I think the storyline went too slowly, and they put Cheetah in here, and Cheetah is one of the most iconic Wonder Woman villains, and it feels like she takes a back seat. Even though she's there from the start, it just feels like she takes a back seat. The return of Steve was interesting. That was one of the best parts of the movie, considering like he was dead for what, over 60 years, almost 70 years. So him coming into the world in the 80s after previously being alive in World War I, it was quite funny seeing him getting used to the new world. But yeah, this Maxwell Lord's a character in this movie who can grant wishes. That's his power. So people wish for something to him, and he grants it on the condition that he takes away something in return. So for Wonder Woman, this is in the trailer by the way, not a spoiler, she wishes for Steve back, and she gets him back, but she loses her powers. So yeah, that's just one example. I won't go any further because it'll just spoil the movie, but there's a lot of wishes that happen in this movie, and it causes chaos, as you would expect. And in the end, it was just a little too much. But the problem is the build-up. The build-up was too slow. then when you got to the climax, it just all came at you at once. It was just crazy how fast it went, considering how slow most of the movie was. There was a lack of action scenes, which, you know, that's not a problem if the story's good. But I felt it was just going too slowly. But it was bright, it was colourful, visually it was quite nice. The action sequences when they did arrive were cool. Wonder Woman fighting Cheetah was a good scene. And there was a really good highway scene as well, highway chase scene. It's also in one of the trailers, I'm pretty sure. It's in Egypt, takes place in Egypt. There's a military convoy, and there's an action scene there involving Wonder Woman. That's a really good scene, one of the best scenes of the movie for sure. Not anywhere near No Man's Land, but still a very good scene for what it is. But yeah, I still enjoyed it, and I'd still rewatch it. I wouldn't rewatch it as much as other DCU movies. Actually, I'd rewatch it more than Suicide Squad. But I don't think it was that bad. But I also don't think it was great. I think it was okay, and I felt it was too slow. I think it could have been paced better. That is for sure. It could have been paced better. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Also, Batman v Superman. You know the theme song at the start of the movie when Bruce's parents get murdered? Do, 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 do. Not the aggressive version of that, but you know, the high piano notes. That theme is in this movie. There's a scene in this movie where a BVS theme plays. I'm just like, wait, why am I hearing Batman music? Well, what's going on here? But to be fair, it was good placement, and it is a pretty good emotional music, emotional theme that you can put for that particular scene. So I kind of get it, but still, I was like thrown off. I'm just like, Batman music? Batman's not even here. What's going on? Also, what I would have preferred is that this movie took place in the modern day. They made it clear in BVS that Wonder Woman, she was there in World War One, and then she disappeared for 100 years, you know. So for me, it doesn't make as much sense for her to turn up in the 1980s, because surely Bruce would know about that, for example, because clearly a lot of people saw Wonder Woman in the 1980s. And I don't think she ran away again after that, so surely people would have known she existed after World War One if she showed herself. I'm just saying. I feel like that kind of like breaks continuity a little bit. I would have preferred to see it in modern day. And that's just my preference. But, you know, they wanted to capture an 80s vibe, and I don't know what an 80s vibe is. So it's sad. I don't know what I can tell you about that. But the comedy wasn't too great. The best comedy was Steve not knowing what was his surroundings. Like he was dead for what, 60, almost 70 years, and he didn't know where he was. He was trying to get to understand how planes work in the future. You can travel to Egypt in one go. He was shocked about things like that. That's a trash can, mate. It's not a monument. Stuff like that. That was the funniest parts of the movie, but the rest of the comedy, it kind of falls off. But yeah, Cheetah I felt underutilized. Pedro Pascal, he performed well, but Maxwell Lord was not the best villain I felt that they could have gone with. And even if they could have gone with him, I feel like they should have done something different with him for sure. They did try to go the sympathetic route. They used a certain character to make you feel sorry for Maxwell Lord in a way, but it didn't work that much for me. But yeah, that's my thoughts. There's also an after credits scene which involves a former Wonder Woman. Someone who used to play Wonder Woman turns up in the after credits scene, but she plays a different character. It's not really a spoiler, but yeah, she plays... You think of Wonder Woman, who played Wonder Woman before Gal Gadot, and she's in this movie. She plays a different character. She's in an after credits scene, so you're welcome. But I won't spoil the actual movie. If you want to see it and you somehow haven't seen it, I mean, I haven't seen it, and I'm a DC fan, so maybe you haven't, because it's not been in cinemas. But check it out. But it's not great. It's not great. It's just okay. I think it's okay. All right. So for me, it's like a 6.5 out of 10. Might be harsh, but yeah, I think that's fair. 6.5 out of 10. Anyway, moving on to a movie I've already seen multiple times, Aquaman. But this time it's in 4K on this massive TV. I cannot wait. Let's do this. You know, I've only watched 20 minutes, and this is some of the best 4K I've seen on this TV. Like, that's no joke. There's 3 movies I own on 4K I haven't watched yet, and that's 1917, Bad Boys for Life, and Le Mans 66, the Ford v Ferrari movie. Having said that, This is the best 4K I've seen so far on this television. It's so good looking. To be fair, this looked amazing in IMAX, you know, like, it looked great on Blu-ray, so I'm not surprised. The visuals in this movie are just fantastic. The way the action sequences are filmed are just so cool, and I love the theme songs as well. The theme songs in this movie are awesome. The general score of the movie is great. The separate theme songs for the characters, heroes and villains, and also just the general theme as well. It's brilliant. And the villains are great as well. Haven't seen them yet, but the villains, I mean, I've seen Black Manta technically, but not suited up yet. But the villains in this movie are so good. Black Manta is like a side villain, tease for the next movie, and also King Orm. Two fantastic villains with fantastic theme songs. They did the characters so well in this movie, and it's fun to watch, you know. It's got your cheesy comedy, which isn't the greatest, but that's the main downside, you know. It's got a great story, great characters, great villains. Aquaman is great, visually nice. The score is amazing, you know. It's just a very fun movie to watch. It's just a good time. Just a really good time. And at the same time, even though it's a fun movie with a lot of comedy, the villains are still very serious and menacing. I love that. It's perfectly balanced, as all things should be. I always wonder who was in that submarine that attacked King Orm and the other king, played by Dolph Lundgren, when they had that meeting. Who was in the submarine that attacked them? Like, I'm pretty sure it was a setup by King Orm anyway, but still, who was in the submarine? Just got to the scene where Mera mentions that Aquaman stopped Steppenwolf saving Atlantis. To be fair, he had mates doing it as well, but yeah, this is why I didn't watch it in the previous week of Movie Monday, because this movie clearly happens after, considering they mentioned defeating Steppenwolf. To be fair, they just explained. I don't remember the scene in the movie, but they explained the submarine thing. It was a deal they made with Black Manta to do that. I don't know if he was in the sub, but they asked for Black Manta's help to pull that stunt off. So yeah, I remember that for some reason. Black Manta's suit looks so damn cool in this movie. You know, I didn't think they'd pull it off, but they really have pulled it off. And he looks accurate as well. It's so cool. Like, when you look at him before, like, in games, you wouldn't think this would look good in a live action movie, but it does. It really does. The scene when he finally gets King Atlan's trident and the iconic suit. Oh my god. Chef's kiss. Climax to this movie, the final battle was so epic, and the ending after that, it's so nice as well. Oh yeah, and the mid-credit scene, there's no after-credit scene, but the mid-credit scene of Black Manta, that was awesome as well. I think that's a great setup for a sequel, and I hope they go through that sequel. That would be great. That's it from me today for Movie Monday. I don't know what I'll do next, but I'm thinking either buddy cop movies or MCU rewatch. I got the whole Infinity Saga on 4K, so I'd like to do that on this TV and do a little series on it. It's a lot of movies though, but I don't know how long that will take me, especially in my busy schedule, but we'll see. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and see ya.